In a world where we are more connected than ever, where a single tap can send a message across oceans, why do we feel so profoundly alone? Why does love, something so timeless, feel like a puzzle we can't quite solve? The answer lies not in the stars or in fate, but in the strange, beautiful, and often absurd reality of modern relationships. Today, we navigate a landscape where love is both closer and farther away than it's ever been, shaped by invisible forces we barely understand. But here's the secret. Understanding these forces is the first step to reclaiming the connection we crave. Imagine for a moment that love is a garden. In the past, it was a small, tended plot, familiar, predictable, with clear boundaries. Today, it's a wild, sprawling forest, full of paths that lead everywhere and nowhere, where the trees are screens and the soil is data. We wander through it, swiping left and right, hoping to stumble upon a clearing where someone waits for us. But the forest is dense, and the paths are endless. This is the absurdity of modern love. We have more ways to meet than ever before, yet finding someone feels like searching for a single star in a galaxy. Dating apps promise us the universe. They offer a carousel of faces, each one a potential match, each one a door to possibility. But here's the paradox. The more doors we see, the harder it is to walk through any of them. We become maximizers, always wondering if the next swipe might be better, if the perfect partner is just one more profile away. It's like standing in front of 100 mirrors, each reflecting a different version of what could be. And in the process, we lose sight of what is. Love, after all, isn't a transaction, it's a connection. And connections aren't found in checklists, they're found in presence. But the absurdity doesn't end there. Once we find someone, we face a new challenge, communicating in a world where words float in digital space, stripped of tone, of touch, of the 1,000 tiny signals that make meaning. A text that was meant to be playful lands like a dagger. A message meant to soothe sparks a wildfire of misunderstanding. We type, we send, we wait, our hearts tethered to 3 blinking dots on a screen. And when the reply comes, we dissect it like a cryptic poem, searching for hidden meanings that may or may not be there. Digital communication is a veil, thin but impenetrable. It lets us say so much, yet feel so little. We mistake the map for the territory, forgetting that real understanding happens not in pixels, but in the space between two people, where eyes meet and silences speak. The permanence of our words haunts us too. Every message is a record, a ghost that can be revisited long after the moment has passed. Breakups, already jagged with pain, become marathons of memory as we scroll through old chats, trying to make sense of where it all went wrong. And then there's social media, where we craft not who we are, but who we wish to be seen as. We curate our lives like art galleries, each post a brushstroke in the portrait of perfection. But love, real love, doesn't live in galleries. It lives in the messy, unfiltered corners of our being, where vulnerability is the currency of connection. Yet we fear judgment, so we polish our edges until they shine, wondering why no one can see us for who we truly are. As if this weren't enough, the very ground beneath us is shifting. The rules of love, once etched in stone, are now written in sand, reshaped by the tides of societal change. Gender roles, once rigid, are bending and blending, leaving many, especially young men, adrift in a sea of uncertainty. How do you express emotion when you've been told to be strong? How do you navigate consent when the lines feel blurry? It's a dance without steps, and the music keeps changing. Meanwhile, the models of relationships themselves are diversifying. Monogamy, polyamory, open relationships, each path is valid, yet each requires a map of its own, The key isn't in choosing the right model, but in understanding that every path demands clear communication and boundaries. Love is not one size fits all. It's a bespoke suit, tailored to the unique shapes of those who wear it. And yet, even as we embrace these new freedoms, ambiguity creeps in. Dating has become a game of shadows, where intentions are hidden behind casual texts and non-committal plans. We play it cool, afraid to show our hand, afraid that vulnerability will be met with rejection. But in doing so, we miss the warmth of genuine connection. Love, after all, is not a game of poker, it's a leap of faith. In a world where we are more connected than ever, where a single tap can send a message across oceans, why do we feel so profoundly alone? Why does love, something so timeless, feel like a puzzle we can't quite solve? The answer lies not in the stars or in fate, but in the strange, beautiful, and often absurd reality of modern relationships. Today, we navigate a landscape where love is both closer and farther away than it's ever been. Shaped by invisible forces, intimacy erodes not in grand betrayals, but in the quiet moments when we choose distraction over presence. The expectation of constant connectivity turns love into a background app, always running but rarely in focus. We forget that the greatest gift we can give is not our availability, but our attention, undivided, unhurried, fully here. Beneath all of this lies the most fragile part of the human heart, our emotional world. Many of us carry maps drawn in childhood, paths that lead us to partners who echo old wounds. We choose the unreliable because it feels familiar. We sabotage joy because we fear it won't last. It's as if we are actors in a play we didn't write, repeating lines from a script we barely remember. Self-sabotage is the shadow that follows us, whispering that we are unlovable, that happiness is a trap. We build walls to protect ourselves, but those walls also keep out the very love we seek. Emotional regulation, learning to sit with discomfort, to respond rather than react, is the key to breaking free. But it's hard. It requires us to face the absurdity of our own patterns, to laugh at the ways we trip over the same stones, and to gently, patiently learn a new way. So, how do we navigate this wild, absurd forest of modern love? The answer isn't in grand gestures or quick fixes. It's in small, intentional steps, like a gardener tending to each plant with care. First, we must tame the digital beast, set boundaries with technology, create sacred spaces where screens are forbidden, where the only connection is the one between you and your partner. Reduce social media's grip. Remember that your relationship's reality is not an online highlight reel. And when it matters most, when the conversation is deep or the conflict is raw, choose the warmth of a face-to-face talk over the coldness of a text. In dating, be mindful. Don't treat people like items on a menu. Treat them like stories waiting to be read. Focus on a few meaningful connections rather than chasing the illusion of endless choice. Love is not a checklist. It's a feeling, a resonance, a quiet knowing. As societal norms shift, embrace the uncertainty. Communicate openly about your needs, your boundaries, your fears. Learn the language of emotions. Therapy, books, even podcasts like Andrew Huberman's can be guides on this journey. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's the soil in which trust grows. Time is precious, so guard it fiercely. Schedule quality moments like you would important meetings, because they are. Be present, not just physically, but fully, with your heart and mind in the same room. Set boundaries between work and love, for one feeds the body, but the other feeds the soul. When conflicts arise, pause, breathe. Don't let the digital veil distort your words. Save serious talks for moments when you can see each other's eyes, hear each other's breath. And when you text, be clear, be kind. Words linger longer than we think. Finally, tend to your emotional garden. Reflect on your patterns through journaling, through quiet walks, through the mirror of therapy. Challenge the beliefs that whisper you are not enough. Replace them with evidence of your worth, your capacity for love. And when you stumble, as we all do, meet yourself with compassion, not blame. Growth is not a straight line. It's a spiral, ever deepening. Modern love is a fragile dance, yes, but it's also a beautiful one. The challenges we face are not walls. They are invitations to grow, to connect more deeply, to discover what truly matters. In the absurdity, there is poetry. In the fragility, there is strength. By approaching love with intention, with care, with the willingness to navigate its wild paths, we can find not just connection, but transformation. So, to those of you who are heartbroken, who feel lost in the forest, know this: you are not alone. The path is winding, but it is yours to walk. And somewhere along the way, perhaps just around the next bend, you will find the clearing you've been searching for.